Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Bobby.
And together, we are your travel gurus. Welcome to Genoa Part 3. Today we're going to explore a couple of palazzos, piazzas, and parishes.
We will be continuing from Part 3, the front of Basilica San Siro. We're taking a right and going to the end of the street and taking another right. This is going to bring us to one of the biggest museums in all of northern Italy. Many of the old palaces here in Genoa have been turned into some sort of museum for something or another. So if you feel like stopping and spending the whole day or even a couple days just looking through all the plazas and palazzos, you're going to find a lot of different museums. But this one right here, this is our favorite.
Palazzo Bianco and Palazzo Doria Terzi are connected. A third palace to consider exploring is Palazzo Rossi, right across the street. We spent our day wandering through the art-filled halls of Palazzo Bianco. Entry fee was €9. This palace was built between 1530 and 1540 for the Grimaldi family. We know them in America for their pizza.
Palazzo Bianco and Palazzo Doria Terzi are both connected by a bridge here in the back. So you pay the entry fee in the one and you get to go into both of them. This will actually be where our exit is.
Art is curated in this dual palace museum, ranging from the 15th to the 18th centuries and from Dutch, Flemish, Italian, and Spanish artists. Much is religious in nature. We saw several versions of the head of John the Baptist.
If you like this or any of our other videos, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're notified when other videos are coming up. We have a lot more coming up of Europe, so make sure to stay tuned. Like I mentioned earlier, the Doria Terzi is where we come out of. When we come out, we're taking the left. We're going to go up this street quite a bit. It's really not far. And at the end of it, we're going to take a right. It kind of forces us right. We're going to go down a little bit further. And there's a lot of restaurants along this way. So this ends up being around lunchtime. So do you want to find somewhere around here for lunch? Up here, take a right. And we wanted something authentic while we were here, so we went down one of these little side alleyways. They had these neon signs out. And don't be afraid to just dip into one of these little side alleys and go get some authentic Italian food. Now we're moving on to one of the most popular areas in Genoa. As we enter this area, we pass the Monumento a Garibaldi. And that's going to take us into one of the big popular areas, which is the Piazza De Ferrari. He's famous in this city, and this whole piazza is named after him, including this fountain, which is one of the highlights of Genoa. From this area, you can see a lot of the original architecture. One of the things that stood out the most for us in this spot was seeing the old architecture with the new architecture in the background. We thought that was really neat because this whole area looks like it's still back in hundreds of years ago. Moving on from here, we're going to go into the next piazza. And to do that, we're going to go through this building right here. Head to the door and just walk through the building. Walk about halfway through and then just take a left and go out the doors. You're going to end up in the Piazza Matteotti. And when we were here this day, we were lucky enough to find a nice little flea market going on.
It shouldn't surprise me after all this traveling, but I'm still shocked at the number of churches that you find in these beautiful old cities.
Speaking of that church, I think we're going to head that way. You'll see the bell tower and the side of the church as you go down this road. Come out of the piazza, take a right, and head down. And the side of the facade is beautiful. Usually there's some buskers out here singing, playing instruments. Unfortunately, when we were here, we weren't able to see the very beautiful front facade. This is one of the famous stops here in Genoa, and the facade had scaffolding on when we were here. But the Lions was still there. You can take a picture in front of it, but the inside is absolutely amazing.
Apart from popular belief, Duomo is the Italian word for cathedral. Our April visit to the Duomo di San Lorenzo brought us to a Roman Catholic church that was built over 200 years, between the 12th and the 14th centuries. The bell tower and the dome were added later. These were built in the 1500s. Now, join us as we walk to the top of the bell tower. Hiking up the turning stairs is a heart rate raising way to earn a commanding view of this historic city.
Now from here, if you're done with your day and you want to head back to the cruise ship, you have a couple different options on how to get out of here. Going back to the cruise ship, facing away from the church and down the road, it's going to take you to the main road that runs along the marina. You're going to see the aquarium. You're going to see all the marina stuff. And if you just head down and take a right and walk along the road, you're going to end up right back at the cruise line. If you're going to stay with us, we're going to go around the long way and head back that way eventually. But there's still one more nice church, very, very old church, one of the first in Genoa, that we're going to go see. Plus, we're going to see some of the original Roman architecture. So, leaving from right here, we're going to head down the road and go back through where the piazza was and pass by this old church and stay to the right of it. At the end of the road, it will bring you to the Porta Soprana, also known as the Twins. This is part of the medieval gate from the 1200s. It's also been renovated quite a few times. After you pass through the Twins, you're going to take a right between these two buildings. We're going to go underneath this building. This is where Jamie had her most favorite part of the whole trip. We're going to go through what's called the City Park. Here you're going to see this bridge with the original building walls. I like to think it's either the old aqueduct or something, but it's really amazing to see. We're going to stay to the right, take the path to the right, and we're going to go over into these buildings over here. You're going to stay to the right the whole time until you get into the little piazza area, Piazza di Sariano. If you want to, you can try to go forward through there and you're going to get to the same place, but I prefer going between these two buildings. Once you slip between these two buildings, then you're going to pass by the university. You're going to take a left, and then you're going to take a right. You can see in the picture this dome, green dome, patina dome. It's some ruins. You're going to pass right by the ruins and go between the buildings. When you pass those buildings, it's going to take you next to one of the oldest churches in all of Genoa. And it's not a cathedral, it's a regular church. It used to be a monastery. It's Santa Maria di Castello. If you go and walk inside the front door, which is on this side, and meet with one of the volunteers and ask them, they will take you to all of the parts of this church. Some of this stuff is thousands of years old. It's been rebuilt a couple times for different things, but they'll take you back into the gardens and you can pick figs. They'll take you back into the cloister. It's an amazing walkthrough. Okay, so they're still with us. We're heading back to the ship. Go out of the church and head straight ahead. It's kind of downhill from here, so just take a couple of the lefts until you get down to the main street, right next to the overhead overpass. We're gonna walk along here for a little bit until we can duck into where all the shops are, and that usually happens right about here where this building's popped out. Go right underneath these archways and you're going to pass all sorts of little restaurants, shops, souvenir places, everything you'd want to bring home to people. We'll get it last minute so you're not carrying it around the whole day. You can walk along there until it pretty much ends. When it forces you to go back into the city, don't go back that way. Go back in towards the road a little closer and just walk along there. There's going to be tents. There's going to be little shops and huts. Stay along the sidewalk until you get down to where we crossed over from the cruise ship. We're going to cross back at the same spot. And when you get to that crosswalk, that'll be where we cross the road. And that's going to be right here at this section where we came across the first time. Your crosswalk is right here. Dip over and it's going to bring you kind of into the middle of the road, but it's safe. You'll see those cross lines right there. And when you walk along there, there's a sidewalk, and that sidewalk is going to take you right into the underpass, which brings you right back into the cruise port. I hope you enjoyed this.